Hey everybody, it's Blake,
And this is Drew.
and you're listening to the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoke Controllers podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 63 of the podcast. Before we get into the two lovely games we've picked for you today, I want to bust through the social media or internet presence as we try to figure out what to call this thing. As you will notice, we are now back to doing it on the front end. We tried it one time on the back end, and we both absolutely hated it. So it's going to go back to how it used to be, staying on the front end. We're going to run through it as quickly as we can manage so we can get to the good stuff. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's the general way to follow us. Everybody knows what all those things are. That's where we post about when we're recording, anything else going on the podcast, sharing links about things we think are cool that are relevant to the podcast, are all on those three things. I do post when we record, and you can write into those any questions for us, comments about current or past games, anything like that, and we'll read the stuff on the podcast if we ever get any submissions. We have a Discord channel, like everybody's got one. That's for talking to us directly. We have a little bit of interaction on there. You can go in there and see what folks are talking about. You find the Discord link in our show notes. We're on Twitch, of course. We try to stream when we got one going. Me and Blake will stream co-op games. We don't do too much individual streaming. You maybe should have streamed all that Lego game, probably.
Maybe.
We don't do too much individual streaming. We do stream co-op games. Our last big thing we were doing was Chaos Bane, the Warhammer game. We kind of completed it mostly, so we might not stream that no more. And we tried to stream It Takes Two, but we're getting blocked by EA or something, so we're not really streaming that. So when we have another co-op game we're playing together that will let us stream, if you follow us on there or follow us on any of the social media, you'll see us pop up when we're trying to do a stream. We have a Patreon, of course. Anybody who has a podcast these days has a Patreon. All that really is a way to support the podcast or podcast creators or any kind of creators is doing stuff that you really enjoy listening to or stuff like that. Our Patreon really just has you like a early access to the episodes right now, like a week early. I will post the unedited, messy, shall we say, episode. You get it on the Patreon a week early, and then a week after that, I post the edited, cleaned up version. It's just early access. We have another one too, another tier that nobody's really taken advantage of yet. It's just picking. We would pick any game at all off of Game Pass, and we will stream it for you for a couple hours probably, and see how that goes. So that's on there as well. I have a Spotify playlist that I make for all the bands that I play on the podcast, the song that I play in the podcast. We'll be adding to that today, so you can follow the link to follow that if you want to listen to these songs later or keep track of what bands we've played and follow those bands. That'd be great. I play music during this intro in the background. You can hear it now. I'm not sure which one. I alternate between two different people right now. If you're a musician of sorts and make music and you want to hear your music on a podcast, so you can submit it to our email address would probably be the best way, like a little MP3 to our email address. That's the number 2 smokycontrollers@gmail.com. And I'll listen to it first, of course, because I'm a picky baby. But most likely, if you do the effort of submitting it to the podcast, I'll probably play it in the background here, and then I'll share your name and everything, any links and names you want me to share for you in the podcast. We appreciate anybody who wants to do that. We have a Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers merchandise store. There's all kinds of goodies on there. Hats, water bottles, pillows, I think, and a glorious pair of underwear, which I really wish somebody would buy and post a gross picture online for us. That would be hilarious. Cross promotion. We do have action the movie podcast, a podcast that kind of piggybacked or say backdoor pilot. People often don't know what a backdoor pilot is, but that other show spawned out of this one. It's so Blake in this show, Blake tries to sell you on movies quickly and without spoiling them. Very tough job, but that helped us lead to the full regular movie podcast idea with our good friend Steve. For him and they go back and forth picking movies, and that's a full spoiler podcast. They warn you ahead of time, and they want you to listen to the movies before you listen. And they deep dive into the directors, writers, actors, and the plot and scenes and stuff like that. It's really fun to listen to. We have a lot of fun making it with Steve. He's a great guy. And we're going to continue promoting Blake's short story he self-published on Amazon. You can find it by searching They Come This Night. It'll pop up immediately. It is free if you're a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, or if you want to support Blake a little more. It's only 99 cents or $1, one of those things. And you'd really appreciate that. If you buy it and read it, we do ask that you leave a review on Amazon. We care more about that than general podcast things, because niche podcasts don't get very big, but a couple of reviews and a couple of things on Amazon could help his story get more notice and get people to buy it. It would be really cool and would motivate him to finish writing his many other writing projects he has going. That's all I have. Links to everything that I just talked about can all be found in the show notes for this podcast. So go there if you don't feel like looking up or searching for anything that I've mentioned. You could just go straight to the podcast links on your phone here and tap any one of the things and follow us, write to us, do anything you feel like doing for us there. We appreciate anybody doing anything at all. I think that's all I have.
All right.
Blake's going to jump into the first of our two games, and I will have a band on the end.
All right, everybody. The first game we'll be diving into today is during our hiatus, we didn't have access to our consoles, and so we decided to dive into our handhelds, primarily the 3DS and the Nintendo eShop. And so one of these is a game we bought. Well, both games were bought, but one's from the eShop and one's a physical copy. So the first game we're diving into is the Pokemon trading card game.
Oh yeah. We did play Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire during this time. We're like, why talk about the big Pokemon game on this podcast? We'll talk about the obscure, weird Game Boy Color game from 25 years ago.
22, close.
22.
Yeah. Actually, 24, if you jab. Anyway, we'll all get into it just here in a second. All right, so it's the Pokemon trading card game. Now, it's actually co-developed by two separate teams. The first one being Hudson Soft, which I think I'm not sure if I've spoken about them before, but they've been around for a long, long time. They've been around since 1973.
Didn't they develop Golden Sun or something?
Probably, or they may have helped publish it. I only dipped into the ones they specifically developed. Okay. They're based out of Tokyo, Japan, and as of 2020, they had 420 plus employees.
Hudson Soft did?
They're pretty massive.
Man. I feel like I've seen their name attached to maybe, what's the Harvest Moon? I picture where I've seen that name. Usually I can picture a logo of a company in my head.
It's that little bumblebee, Hudson Soft. It's the little bumblebee.
I think they did Harvest Moon.
But I think they publish a bunch of stuff too.
On PlayStation 1. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry.
But games they specifically developed, they are responsible for some pretty heavy hitters, honestly. Fusion Frenzy 2.
That's the top of your list?
No, I just wanted to have fun with that. But Mario Party. They're responsible for
the Mario Party people?
all Mario Party.
Even the current ones?
All of them. They're responsible for Mario Party.
Period.
And they're also responsible for Bomberman, the creation of Bomberman in every game since.
Yeah, had a good. Well, I guess Bomberman R has been pretty well received.
But even that really weird, like, dark Americanized 64 version or whatever.
Oh, that was the Xbox version.
It was the Xbox version, yeah. My bad.
Tried to be gritty and stuff, and nobody played it.
They're also responsible for another one called Manate Detsetsu, which is basically Japanese Monopoly. It's literally what it is. Mm-hmm. But it's not Monopoly, but it is literally
Japanese real estate.
You buy, instead of, like, you buy property and you pass.
Video games?
It's a video game and board game.
Okay, cool.
And now, one of their more obscure ones, and I've spoken about, I would love to see a return of this particular franchise. I would absolutely. I suck at these type of games, but I would love to see it come back just so I could play it on a modern console. But they're responsible for Bloody Roar.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What a company! It's really spread their wings and did all kinds of things.
I think they're
surprised Bloody Roar hasn't come back to modern consoles.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, with modern graphics and stuff.
Yeah. You know, just what is it? Ginny the Bat and Buckaroo the Mole and George the Gorilla. Like, you know, all these awesome ones. Like, imagine those cheesy transformations in gorgeous modern day graphics. Yeah, like, it would be awesome.
Yeah, things do randomly come back. I mean, and then see Hudson Soft's still around.
Mm-hmm. I would love it. I would love to play. I suck at it, but I would love to play a Bloody Roar nowadays.
Yeah, they got up to what, PS2 maybe?
I think so.
As far as it went.
Because I don't want to. This isn't Bloody Roar podcast, but I'd love to see it come back. Now, the second company that helped co-develop is a company called Creatures. Now, they're not exactly a gaming company specifically, but as of they kind of came around in '95 is when they kind of first started. Oh, scratch that. They were named Ape prior to that, I think in '93 or so. And then they were kind of absorbed and bought by Game Freak for Nintendo.
Rebranded.
Mm-hmm. But as Ape, they actually are responsible for creating Mother.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. The original developer for Mother?
The original developer for Mother. But it's really the only thing they did, because they did that and then a couple...
I wonder, because Mother just hit, well, they call it Earthbound Beginnings, I guess, just hit the Nintendo Pass online thing. I don't know what it's called. I wonder if it's when it pops up when you play it, if 8 pops up, or if they've updated it when they updated it to say Earthbound Origins or whatever it's called, Earthbound Beginnings. If it says some modern company or just says Nintendo now or something.
Who knows?
I wonder. So it's a weird question, but yeah, I wonder if they still keep their old name attached to it.
As of recently, they're based out of Japan as well, Tokyo, Japan, I believe. They are responsible for, as weird as it is, their primary directive is Pokemon modeling. Mm-hmm. And that includes anything where Pokemon has appeared. Mm-hmm. That includes like Smash Brothers, that Pokken Tournament, any card game, any commercial, anything where you see...
There's a big-time art company.
Their primary thing is Pokemon, and all modeling referring to Pokemon.
Well, the name makes sense then.
Yeah, Creatures, which is better than Ape.
So they've done good and bad over the years.
A little bit. Well, even it's not. They didn't. They just did the modeling. They didn't. So
have the ideas. I guess. Surely they've got to pitch some ideas for Pokemon.
I'm sure they have. But the other thing, they didn't work on. When I say they're responsible for the modeling, I think it was taken care of in-house for a little bit, but when they actually started doing 3D models and stuff, I think as of X and Y, for the games X and Y Forward, they've been solely responsible for doing all the modeling for the games. Not necessarily the programming or any of that, but with the character models and the Pokemon models. Cool. Cries, everything. So I still think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a big job. Mm-hmm. Sure keeps them busy year round.
Oh God, yes.
Getting ready for every. I mean, was it last year when and this year where like Diamond and Pearl came out and Arceus, and then right on the tails of that now is Scarlet and
And Violet.
Violet. So they're just like banging, like just working. Probably we get crunch culture. This just is the big topic in gaming these past couple of years.
But all those games were like announced, 3 or 4 years ago. It's not like they were rushing. They were like, "Hey, these are coming out."
Yeah, that's still a lot of games and a lot of work to be done.
But when you got 200 plus employees, I'm sure you can split the team pretty well.
Yeah.
And besides all that too, they are responsible for the actual physical TCG, the trading card game. They're responsible for that as well.
Completely. Okay.
They handle all of that in house. So like
all the art you see for the cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the real life stuff.
The real life one.
Yeah, not just the game. Okay.
For all of it. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They were pretty. They were either. I'm
sure they got their 100 and something employees divided doing different things.
Oh
this,
yeah.
This 50's doing card game. This 50's doing this. This 50's doing a remake of an old Pokemon game. This 50's doing the new game. And
you'd hope.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure when it comes down to crunch, like, hey everybody, we need to focus on Scarlet Violet, or hey everybody, we need to pause that for today. Let's move over to this. I'm sure there's some inner
That's just boring business stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so in case you haven't figured it out yet, the genre of the game is a tabletop card game, card collecting game.
And this is on the Game Boy Color originally, but we played a digital copy on the 3DS eShop, which I think was like $6 or something like that.
Something like that.
Very, very cheap. And if you're interested in doing it, you may have heard that the eShop is closing March of next year. So you might want to get on that and buy any cheap digital games like that while you still can.
Because we're still going through it ourselves and nitpicking a couple.
Yeah, there's a couple of Pokemon games, other Pokemon games on there we're going to try to get. But I mean, the Pokemon trading card game, it's $6. I mean, even if you didn't like it, which we'll get into, just me a little bit, like $6 isn't that much of an investment to try out something really cool from a while ago.
So I'm going to kind of, some of the random things that go on is basically, it's Pokemon-ish. Yeah. You start out, you're on like a random island, and then you have a Pokemon. You have a professor, but he's a professor of cards. Mm-hmm. And he tells you your goal is to become strong and collect all the cards, including the legendary cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just get dropped into a tutorial on how to like deck build and everything, and then you're kind of just off. And you can literally just go anywhere. There's nothing that stops you from...
There's no direction, which is one of the main things that kind of bothered me about it. I was hoping it would follow more of a structure of a traditional Pokemon game, but it doesn't. It throws that out the window.
It's kind of like, here you go, here's the world map. Literally go anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm.
And as stupid as it sounds, I did pull a guide up. Because it's luck based, it's deck building, so you don't really have full control. But at least with the guide, it was like, oh, go here. This is the easiest gym. It has the few people, has the smallest winning conditions. Because winning conditions were what you had, these little prize cards, anywhere from 2 to 6, and depending, you only draw a prize card if you killed one of your fainted one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, another way to win is if you killed all their Pokemon that they had on field, and then you would just automatically win. Even if you still had like 3 or 4 cards to draw, if they had nothing to play, you automatically won. Oh, okay. So you had 2 separate forms of winning condition.
Sort of like it's like in Magic, not the same thing, but if you run out of cards to draw, it's just like a default winning condition.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to win. Now, the game itself included the first 3 sets of Pokemon, which were the base set, the starter set that had all 3 of the original starters, and then the jungle set and the fossil set. And all 3 sets were released before the game came out in America. They were all released between 97 and 99 in Japan, and then America got them as it went on.
Okay.
So, speaking of that, the release dates, I didn't even talk about that. Japan, it came out Christmas in 98. And then in America, it came out in April 2000. So there's there's pretty big, I guess, because that's a lot of translating the cards into English. So It also probably wasn't a huge priority. They're like, oh, let's see if we make any money off this. Do you have anything to add? I feel like I'm talking a bunch.
No, I didn't play it for all that long, honestly. I played it first, but I didn't play it for all that long. I'll let you get into talking how it plays and stuff like that first before I talk about... I didn't even beat any of the gyms.
Because it does follow a sort of Pokemon plan. Because you can go anywhere, but there are the 8 clubs that each have a club leader, and you have to get the medal for winning each one. And of course, I think, is it in sets of 2 or sets of 4, where there's a challenge hall that opens up that gives you access to like exclusives, but you only get one chance at that time. But then once you beat the game, in the post game, you can literally have access to everything. So there are moments where you get one chance to get a card until post game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I did pretty good.
Yeah, I was playing. I played first. This is coming out of I just beat Sapphire is what I played. Blake played Ruby. We're coming out of that. Wanted to play another Pokemon game, because to us, like, we've been replaying the old games. Like, we started with Red and Blue and did Gold and Silver, and now Ruby and Sapphire. We've always coming out of we seem like the ending of a lot of these games is kind of disappointing. You're kind of like getting into a groove and kind of things start rolling, and then you kind of beat the Elite Four, and these games are just kind of over with. We had this weird thing so far. We're like really enjoying the beginning of a Pokemon game, kind of enjoying the middle, and the time you wrap up on the end of a game, you kind of feel empty on the end. So we came out of these Ruby and Sapphire kind of wanting to do something else.
Well, they've also remedied that for a little bit as the later ones. You get some interesting post games.
Yeah, we talked about Sword and Shield a while back on this podcast, how much we greatly disliked those games, and I didn't even do the post game and that. Like, I didn't even catch the legendary, the little Sword and Shield dogs. Didn't even bother catching them in those games because I was so sick of playing those games. After you pseudo beat that game, it kind of kept going. Yeah. We've talked about, as we work our way through the series, we might give them another chance. I mean, Blake bought the expansions and then never played them.
I started one of them, and then I just kind of never got back to it.
Yeah.
I do want to give them another go, though, with less, disappointment in my eyes.
Yeah.
Stop judging them so harshly.
Yeah, but back to this one, we wanted to play something else, Pokemon. It kind of felt we want to play more Pokemon. It was like, do something different. We was like, oh, and the trading card game is cheap, and we remember liking it when we were kids, so we bought it right away, and I went straight into it. And started losing almost immediately. What sucks about this game, and I guess Blake found a way around it because he ended up beating the games. He's more persistent than I am. I have the same problem when I was playing Magic the Gathering against AI. Is the AI of Magic the Gathering just flat out cheats. They draw the perfect cards they need. This game does that too. It's the problem with fighting an AI in a card game. Is it's random, quote unquote, but like, it's a computer and you can't see the data, so they're clearly going to draw, more often than not, they're going to draw exactly what they need. And then the difficulty spike here I feel like was immense. Like, even the first people I was playing up against had a master understanding of the game mechanics. It's like there was no normal, like, easy, normal, hard level of AI in this Pokemon game. Like, everybody just had mastered the Pokemon trading. Everybody you played against, from a lowly grunt to a Pokemon gym trainer, whatever, had club leader, had a complete and total master understanding of all game mechanics. And I thought it was quite exhausting playing against these folks that would do like 5 or 6 things in a turn. You're like 2 turns in, and they've taken like 2 of my 3 prize cards. And I'm just like, I don't even know what's happening. You know, like throwing people out, doing an attack, pulling them back in, throwing somebody else out, doing a special move, and pulling them out and doing that. And I'm like, can you stop taking your turn? Is most what when I quit, I lost against the same person like 7 times in a row, and I was like, I guess I'm done playing this because I'm not getting any progress, and I just have, and the way they're crushing me. Like, there's that feeling of getting crushed by a Pokemon I would never use in the main games. It was like a Scyther was like decimating my entire party. And I'm like, a Scyther can't kill anything in Pokemon. Like, I would just blow a scythe out of the freaking water in a main game. So that's my own mindset. That's nothing to, the card games are different. The card game's different. And another thing, I'll go into another thing I didn't like, and then you can go into things you did like. After playing, we had played three gens at this point, so I have a pretty good familiarity of moves and move sets and what's going on with Pokemon. The cards are just littered with things that aren't in the game.
Yeah.
They're just like, there's so many things that aren't moves. Like when you play a Pokemon game, you know that they have the four moves and they learn more moves. There is no obscure random things that they can do just because they're. But anyway, the cards are just littered with things that ain't Pokemon moves. It was just rubbing me the wrong way. I guess as a grown ass man, I guess it shouldn't be bothering me. But I was just like, why does this
man bothered by a children's card game?
I was like, why does this thing have two? Why is this card has two abilities, and neither one are actual Pokemon moves? Like, come on, give me one. Give me one of them. Yeah. But they're both doing like random things, and they missed out on. They were kind of lost a bit on typing a little bit. You might get into that while you're talking about it. They get a bit obscure on typing. They're missing some types. So like a Geodude is like a fighting type in this, or just like Geodudes are a rock type. Come on, get your story straight here. But there's no rock type in the card game. Why would they leave out a type in the card game? Who knows? I guess some things are on the cutting room floor there. Those are some things I did not like about this game that I did not complete. Blake, you want to talk about this stuff you did like and talk about what winning is like?
Yeah,
or doing good in the game, or how you how you beat cheating AI repeatedly, because you started winning pretty quickly. I feel like.
Well, I am persistent when it comes to card games because I've played. I get it because the game does do some absolute cheating when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, it ain't. And I'm not just saying cheating because we're whining about cheating in video games. It's like when you have to play a card game against an AI, and you'll see things when you're familiar with the game, as familiar as he is with Pokemon, and as familiar as we both are with Magic Together. You'll see things happening, and you're just like, that's not, the consistency sometimes that they get in their cards. You're just like, that wouldn't happen in real life. Like, there's no way you'd get the look of a draw unless you're like Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess, and you believe in the heart of the cards. There's just things that happen against digital like AI players in card games that just rubs you the wrong way, and it's definitely not right. In this game has that. And we're talking about, it's one thing having an understanding of it. If you've played these games, you have the understanding we have that you can see cheating, like AI cheating in a game like this.
Because it definitely bumps the odds. Here's a kind of a random thing. I have a Ninetales. Mm-hmm. One of its attack is you flip 8 coins and you deal 10 damage per heads you get. And I would do that, and I would get tails 8 times in a row. I was like, really?
Yeah.
That's how
But you fight a Ninetales.
It never got 8, but I think it would get like 4 or 5.
4 or 5, which is enough to kill most Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on now. Like, it's realistically, it's supposed to be 50-50 on a coin.
It's one of those things where I witnessed both ends. I witnessed being absolutely decimated by an AI, like a fairly weak AI, not even a gym leader. But then, now, probably my proudest moment, I was doing against the psychic club leader. Now, let me preface this: I'd already lost anywhere from 8 to 12 times. Just because I'd go in, try it. Okay, that went really well, and I'd have to augment, or eventually I would just read a strategy, and the guide's like, "Oh yeah, because he uses these types, just use these types." It was a pretty good guide. But during during my fight with him, I managed to. It just really lucky. He literally, all he was drawing was no energy. All he had were his energy is what you attach to the cards to make them attack, or you attach to the abilities and so on and so forth. It's your mana, like in Magic the Gathering.
Except you attach it straight to the Pokemon, and not just tap it.
And anyway, so he had 1 energy. It had like one creature with like one energy, and it was all it could do was it was a slow poke, and if it was a heads or tails, and if it got heads it heals, if it tails it didn't. And so it kind of lasted for a little while, but he kept having to discard because he wasn't drawing energies and the ability to evolve. And I ended up killing his slowpoke around turn 3 or 4 probably, and I won. I drew my one puzzle. He's like, opponent has no more Pokemon, and so I was like, yes, I witnessed it. Like I witnessed.
He's like one time. It sounds like.
I had it happen a couple times. But that was the biggest one. What I had tried. That was probably the one I tried the most fight because I lost.
I feel like the game felt bad for you. Like, all right, we're gonna throw him a freaking bone.
It probably, but I mean, I managed. I beat the entire game. For the, it's like you can cheat or anything. It's just persistence, and getting lucky.
Did you collect all of the cards, or did you stop at a certain?
I didn't. Like the game has a total of 266 cards, including, like I said earlier, the first 3 sets, and then there are some exclusive ones that you can only get in game. Now you can get them in real life if you attach the what is it, Game Boy Color iToy printer thing and take 4 hours to print the image out.
You can print exclusive cards. That's kind of cool, though.
You can, and I think they were made legal temporarily, but then they were just like, that's dumb. Don't we gotta make them legal. But you can't. You were able to print them out and play them for a while.
That's pretty cool.
I think after everything was said and done, I probably had the game. It was, hold on. You know what? Give me 1 second. I actually took a picture of my end game, so I could remember it for a moment, just like this. All right. So I played a total of 16 hours and 14 minutes. And I managed to collect 197 cards out of 226.
It's not bad.
That's really not awful. Like, I could have played more, but I was like, I beat it.
I'm done with this, I guess.
Okay. And random side note for me is anytime I play a game nowadays, I make sure my character's name is Chocobo, because that's like my gamer tag and a bunch of other things.
Gamer tag. You just full gamer tag. If you want to find him on Xbox or PlayStation, it's Chocobo Stampede. It's really hilarious.
But with PlayStation, it's Chocobo_Stampede.
Oh, well, there you go.
Regardless. But I couldn't, Chocobo was too long. So I named my character Wark! with exclamation points, so people were just warking at me the whole game.
That's funny. You didn't tell me that before.
So I just thought that was a good me joke for that.
Funny only to you and apparently me.
That's all that matters. Now, we were talking about the different types a minute ago.
Yeah.
About how Geodude and Rhydon are rock and ground types, but those don't exist. So I actually have a breakdown here for the card types for those who don't know, if you care. So you have
this might have changed. And then this is a game in 1990, 1998, you said?
It's changed-ish.
In real life, they probably have all the types, probably.
They don't.
Really?
No, I'll go through it right here. So early on, in this particular game, grass covers grass, poison, and bug. Fire covers fire. Water covers water and ice. And lightning covers electric. And then you have fighting, which covers fighting, rock, and ground. And then the psychic type covered psychic and ghost.
I didn't realize it wasn't a ghost type, yeah.
And then you had colorless, which did normal, flying, and dragons. Now
such a mess.
Well, they've updated it, and so now earlier, I think in grass I said grass, poison, and bug. Poison didn't exist at all until more recently. Then they added poison to grass and poison to psychic, as well as they've added darkness, metal, dragon, and fairy. And those
they called it metal, not steel.
Yeah, the card game is vastly different from.
I know, but like, just match the terminology, people.
It's a card game, so certain things it's hard to do, I guess, or it makes it too complicated.
It's not hard to say steel instead of metal.
I don't know. But they said they've added a couple of things. Fairy is fairy, dragon is dragon, metal is steel, darkness is dark and poison, colorless is still dragon, flying, normal. Poison nowadays covers psychic, ghost, poison, and fairy. And it's still the fighting ground fighting. And they just kind of added, I'm not even sure if they have all the types in there, because there's 18 types of Pokemon. But regardless, that's a whole other avenue I'm not going to be too nerdy on. Now, this game was incredibly well received.
Yeah.
Incredibly so. Japan, in its first year, sold over 600,000 copies. Mm-hmm. It's made more, of course, after that, but they only had track of their first year.
Got 2 more from us.
And then in America, its first year, it made 1.5 million.
Dang. That's a lot for a card game.
In its first year, yeah. Well, what happened was it came out...
This come out after Red and Blue, but before Gold and Silver.
Came out in 2000, so it may have been April 2000, so I think November 2000 would have been Gold and Silver. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it only covers Gen 1.
Mm-hmm. And one of like I said, it got incredibly high ratings. Most of the people giving it the high rating was like, it's all the fun. It is literally all the fun of Pokemon trading.
Not spending the money.
Yeah, no cost, no clutter, because everything is inside the cartridge. Yeah. And you could still battle your friends. And it had a special feature called a card pop, which is, as long as you guys infrared or trade linked, I forget which, is it randomly gave each of you a card from the other person's game that they owned. But you could only card pop with one
time with the trainer.
One time.
You had trainer ID. It's just like you do in the main series.
But you train a whole bunch of people and everyone. So
Me and Blade didn't card pop, even though we're pretty sure the digital version could. Because the digital versions of these games are pretty cool. Because like we're allowed to trade wirelessly on Red and Blue because
and Gold and Silver
because they set it up to work wirelessly through the DS, which is really cool. We didn't bother card popping because I wasn't playing the game.
Guess he's a douchebag. Now, like I said, I lost a bunch, but there is no drawback. Was
there a win-lose stat somewhere in the game?
Not that I could tell.
I'd be curious to see your amount of wins compared to your amount of losses. Yeah, I thought that like back in the day, maybe I'm thinking of other games that like when you lost, they took one of your cards, but like literally nothing happens when you lose. You just appear back outside in front of them. You just try again.
Well, I think the whole point is they're trying, because Pokemon's always been about, the games for the most part, been about being friendly and like
Well, in the main franchise, when you die, you lose half your money.
That is true.
At least to a certain point in the game. I don't know if it's stopped in the later games, but you white out, they call it, and you lose half your money.
I guess that is true. So I don't know. There was no money in this. There was no way to go buy cards.
When you beat a trainer, you do get a booster pack. That's how you get more cards.
You would get 1 to 2, and if it were gym leader, sometimes 3.
Mm-hmm. Booster packs are random.
Mm-hmm.
They are set to. They can be set to a certain. You'll pick like a fire pack, and you'll get more fire stuff.
There was like, I forget what they called them in game, but it was.
I say this like I ever won a match. I literally never won a match, so I never saw a booster pack. I just know this from the past and through Blake that if you win, you get a pack. Yeah, I don't think about that. I never actually did win a game.
That's sad.
I moved around to the different areas and tried fighting different people with my crappy little deck and couldn't beat anybody.
It's a kind of cool thing too is there's actually 2 cameos in game. There's the president and CEO of Game Freak Pokemon, or I think, and his name is Tsunokazu Ishihara. Mm-hmm. And in game there's a character named Mr. Ishihara, and he would.
Somebody you battle?
You battle him, and he would also be the guy who, I think, during the Elite Four, he was the guy who hosted the competition and stuff like that. And then the composer for the game, Tamgaki Imakuni, and he was a character in game who was Imakuni with a bunch of like question marks and exclamation points after his name, and he had like a black suit with big old bunny ears on it. It was weird. But he had his own special theme and everything, and he came in randomly, and he was a character. I think he had the exclusive cards, and you could only beat him after you had so many badges. He would just kind of appear randomly, and if you beat him, you got an exclusive card. But if you lost, he would disappear again. But then in post game, you could fight him as many times as you want. And each time you fought him, you'd get your exclusive.
Yeah, cool.
And the again, like standard Pokemon, you did actually have a rival. His name was Ronald, and
he come busting in.
Yeah,
beat the crap out of me and left.
Yeah, He beat the snot out of me.
I fought him one time, and it wasn't even like he just appeared. Seemingly, I didn't beat anybody. He just like ran into a room one time, beat the crap out of me, and left. And I was like, this is worse than Gary.
Yeah, I didn't find him very. He was kind of funny, but
it was like back in the beginning when your rivals are more rude than anything, I guess.
Oh yeah. The one cool thing too, though, is in 2001, they did put out a sequel, but Japan only.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't put it. America sold a lot more copies. I'm surprised it didn't come to America.
I don't know why either.
It was on the Game Boy Color as well.
It was.
I don't know if the Game Boy Advance was out yet.
It was called Pokemon Trading Card Game. Here Comes Team Rocket. Now you can, since people have, due to fan enthusiasm, people have made fan translations of the game that you can
get in ROMs,
yeah, that you can get. So it's probably not that hard to find. I'm trying to think.
You probably download it and play it on your phone if you wanted to.
Well, speaking of that, they're actually doing. I think it may have started already, but there is a Pokemon TCG phone app that you can play now. You can play online with people. And they're still heading it and everything, but I think it uses like AR technology where like you throw the card down and then the card, like old school Yu-Gi-Oh, the monster sits above the card and stuff like that.
Do they do all that?
I think so.
Because it could have just been AR. You got to have the cards or something.
I don't think. Well, if you have the cards, you can scan the little barcode in the corner and put the card in game, or you can do in-game purchases and in-game boosters.
Yeah, that sounds like you could search any barcode you wanted though.
Probably.
Online, it's hard to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
they might as well. If you're going to do a digital thing, you might as well have its own digital economy.
Yeah, but I haven't looked into it too much. I've thought about it, but I don't even play Pokemon Go that much or anything like that.
I don't play Pokemon Go at all. What else you got for this game? Are you running to the end of your stuff, end of your notes?
I think so. I'm doing a quick run through now. It was Gen 1 only. It does one thing I 100% do not like when it comes to card games is you get 4 decks and you can build anywhere in those 4 decks, but if you need something more, you have to disassemble and rearrange, which I get, which is fine. You don't need to have unlimited decks, but whenever you build a deck, it takes the cards out of your general collection and you can't use them again unless you take them out. Which I've played card games where they're like, you have your collection and it exists always. So I can literally make infinite number of decks, but because it's one deck, it doesn't deplete it from my collection. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like in this, if I had say 4, I'll just say I had 4 Eevees and I wanted 2 decks to have 4 Eevees. I couldn't. I literally had to go to one deck, take 2 out and put them in. It was kind of lame. But it was also limited space on the cartridge, which I understand.
Yeah, that's mostly what that was limited space.
I don't really think I have anything else other than that I did enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you have a particularly favorite deck, or were you changing so much it didn't matter?
Probably oddly enough, the best deck that I would go with was my... God. I think it was my Fighting Fire deck, which was Charizard, because at the beginning you get to pick your starter, quote unquote, and you're given a deck that's designed around the Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. And I started with the one, and it was Charmander and fighting type. It's Charmander and Friends, which is fire, fighting, and a splash of electric. And I used that one but matter of fact, I didn't augment. Like, I made other decks, but that deck itself I didn't actually augment until around Club 5 or 6 for me, because I was just like, because I did everything else I did, and I did like the order that you're supposed to, like the water gym, the grass gym. I kind of like did it to myself, but I didn't augment that deck at all for the longest time because I was like, I'm winning with it. I don't want to
keep winning. Yeah,
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, you get like a perfect little perfect balance in the deck somewhere.
Yeah. So
did you build decks or did you do the auto builder?
Oh, I built my own.
Yeah, I figured you would. You like building decks.
I built my own often, and I wrecked a couple because the Dragonite in the card game is pretty amazing.
Yeah, for Pokemon, it's not very good in Gen 1 at least.
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah, I don't really have. I mean, I enjoyed it, and if they put out another one, I would play it too. And I might take a look at the online card game.
I'm surprised they didn't come back around and made another one. I mean, it work real well on the DS, you know.
Oh yeah.
Hand in the bottom screen, the game at the top screen. I mean, it's weird that sometimes people just
or your bench on the bottom screen.
Or your bench on the you're right. Yeah, bench on the bottom screen, your hand would just pop up on top of it. I mean, there's just these weird things that you think they would do that just never happen. Especially things that sell well, but maybe it has something to do with them being so heavy. Maybe they're just too busy to make another game. You know,
they're like, man, we're making so much money off the card game. Let's not hurt
draw attention away from the.
Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot on that.
Yeah, I think there's new, even the new Magic games though. They have where you spend money to buy packs and stuff. Like they can do that. Yeah. Maybe what that online game you're talking about does.
That's probably what it is. In-game purchases with Poke coins or real life money. I'll look into it. We'll see.
Awesome. All right. Well, to stay in theme, we are again not going to talk about
this one over.
We're going to continue talking about Pokemon games again, not mainline games, which we've debated doing episodes about the mainline franchise. We just haven't got to it yet. 'Cause we're 3 gens deep, 4th gen ready to go.
The second game that we'll be talking about today is Detective Pikachu. Now, it originally came out in Japan February 3rd, 2016 as a download eShop exclusive.
It was download only at first?
Mm-hmm. But it only had the 3 chapters because they were going to break it down. But then apparently it got a lot of notice. And they're like, oh, okay, we're going to make... And it stayed in the eShop for 2 years, February 3rd, 2016 to January 12th, 2018. Now, upon the January 12th, 2018, they've removed it from the eShop and announced that they were making a full game, a larger full version of the game. And then, literally, they were making, but literally 2 months later, they put it out worldwide.
Yeah.
And March 23rd, 2018. Now, the original title was called The Great Detective Pikachu: Birth of a New Duo. That's an incredible mouthful. That's a mouthful. And so they definitely just shrunk it to Detective Pikachu, and it jumped from 3 chapters to 9 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And the developer is Creatures. See the beginning of the last section.
Yes, basically.
It's literally just Creatures. And they're the only ones who worked on this. They didn't have help from anybody else. It was just Creatures.
Very cool.
So I thought that was pretty dope. The game is DS only. Mm-hmm. Well, eShop and DS, but it's the same thing. It's only
this is quite a leap from Pokemon trading card game and on the Game Boy Color to 2018 for Detective Pikachu. It's a full 3DS adventure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 3DS adventure.
Yeah, it's mostly a talking game, but.
And speaking of talking, it is like
90%, 95%.
I'd say like 90% voiced.
Yeah.
And it is good voices, and I'll get into that here in just a little bit.
Yeah, it makes me wonder back when we complained about why Sword and Shield were not voiced, and then Detective Pikachu is almost entirely voiced.
Though it is much smaller, but not really. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of spoken dialogue.
Yeah, a lot.
And cool, if they only, and again, with Sword and Shield on a supposedly more powerful console, why wasn't it voiced?
Almost guarantee Scarlet and whatever.
Violet
probably won't be voice acted again.
I'll be, just as pissed as I am about Sword and Shield as I am about that. We'll see. Is Arceus?
I have no idea. We haven't played Arceus yet. Arceus. We haven't played it yet.
We'll dive into that later. So the kind of give it a little bit. It is a narrative-driven adventure game with, graphically speaking, the graphics are pretty good. A little choppy, but I mean, it's,
So, yeah, this is about the most. This came out after. There's some Aloha Pokemon, so this is after Sun and Moon. I'm not sure.
This is, I think, the best
Is
quality.
this after Sun and Moon or after Ultra? I don't know. This is probably the best Pokemon game. The company even said when Sun and Moon had come out that they had made Pokemon look as good as it can on a handheld.
Yeah, they can't look any better.
And this came out after those, so this is probably the best looking Pokemon game you'll see on a handheld. And then you can still see this if you're just used to modern graphics, things just look choppy around the edges of characters sometimes, and it's just the not HD thing. The game still looks very good, I will say. I think it looks great for on the small screens you don't even really notice the not HD stuff of things. It's kind of the point when something is designed on a small screen like that. It's designed to look the way it does, and I think it looks really good. And again, we came off of Ruby and Sapphire. I keep saying it, but those were Game Boy Advance games. Looked really good. They still look pretty good for their time, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because we jumped from Gold and Silver to Ruby and Sapphire, and that's basically a generation leap. And a gen leap like that's pretty cool. So I sort of wish we saved Detective Pikachu for like after we played Sun and Moon, because I've been going through these games kind of blind and kind of experiencing new Pokemon as they come along. So then I started seeing Pokemon in this that I hadn't seen because I haven't played to that gen. So I sort of kind of wish we saved this game for later. So now I've had the graphical leap from like Ruby and Sapphire, which Game Boy Advance, until like maxed out 3DS. And then now when I go back next, we're playing Diamond and Pearl. I have to go back to like early 3DS, not even
early DS.
Yeah. So early DS, which will still look cool, I'm sure, but early DS graphics, and work my way back up through the franchise to get back to what this game looks like.
Yeah. One, like I said, speaking of like really good voice acting, for the English version of Pikachu, because the Japanese version is
Ryan Reynolds.
No. And for the game, the Japanese version is a very gruff, like detective voice. Like, hey, he's a really deep, gravelly voice. And so
Pikachu.
In America, there is a massive following, a petition online. They got all these signatures, and it got a bunch of steamroll, and it made it all the way to...
Didn't work.
To Danny DeVito. They wanted Danny DeVito to do the voice of Pikachu, and he was like, cool, what's Pokemon?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and he's like, you know what? I don't know what the is. I don't want to disrespect fans. Thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. If something else comes along, think of me again. But I don't want to disrespect people by not knowing what the source material is or what it's about. So at least he was cool about it.
Yeah.
But it would have been amazing if he was the voice of this Pikachu.
Yeah, it would have been great, yeah. Not that the guy they got did a bad job.
He was fine, but it would have just been great to have Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and I said Ryan Reynolds because if you haven't seen the Detective Pikachu live action movie, which was made because of the popularity of this game, they got Ryan Reynolds to voice. Well, now why they got Ryan Reynolds so they have a name in the movie? No, I said why would they get Ryan Reynolds and not just get the original voice actor? It's because they needed to slap a name onto that movie, I'm sure.
What do you mean? The original voice actor.
The original Pikachu voice actor.
Well, she does.
No, I mean the Detective Pikachu's game voice actor. Why didn't they use him for the movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Because they needed. I mean, come on, it's Hollywood.
Yeah,
they needed to slap a name onto the movie.
America needed an American name up there
Yeah,
because
exactly.
America's racist. And speaking of, said the voiceover and Danny DeVito, that was all pretty cool. You do get to see one of my biggest things about the game is you get to play Pokemon without being a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah.
Like, people you encounter are people living their lives in a Pokemon world. Like,
even your main character seems somewhat oblivious of Pokemon in a sometimes like he's like surprised by Pokemon things. Like, it's weird. Like, you play Pokemon games and you have like this general knowledge of Pokemon, or you know something evolves into something. He has this like sense where he's like surprised when Pokemon do things, or surprised when a Pokemon evolves because of a story event. he's like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. But us in the video game real world, we're like, oh yeah, of course it evolves into that.
Yeah, what are you, stupid?
What are you, stupid? But the guy was not only not a trainer, he's generally does not. He doesn't have a like most people you meet in the game. Even if they're not trainers, they have a partner Pokemon. This kid just has nothing. I guess so he could pair up with Pikachu, I guess, in the storyline. But why didn't he have anything beforehand? Why does he seem generally kind of not interested in Pokemon? It's very strange.
It is because it was so cool.
Yeah,
like seeing it genuinely. It felt lived in, and it was one of the other things. It's stuff that you don't get in the main games. You see, oh cool, this Machop is stomping grounds so they can build a building over there. Or look, this Chansey works at the Poke Center. Haha, it's there. But this was like, and it gave him more personality too, because Pikachu would speak with him. Mm-hmm. Primary example, we'll go basically with like your first area, your first like the tutorial chapter is something gets stolen from a little girl, and it's an Apom, and they misfits playing around, and three of them run off. And you got to try to discover which way it went, and so on and so forth. And you start talking to all the people, and then Pikachu with you, and he's speaking to the Pokemon and translating what they're saying to you.
It's kind of cool.
And so it's really cool because you'll get one of the.
We kind of skipped ahead where you bump into him and meet him for the first time, and he's like he's weirded out because he can understand him, but he can understand Pikachu, but nobody else can. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I didn't want to like, oh, that's the story. You'll get that real quick. I was like, if you'll play, you'll play. And then, because one of the things is two things early on is he gets into a fight with a bird. You have to investigate the scene where this Apom's at, and you're like, oh, there's some garbage. There's a bird feather, and what else is there? Okay, and then it's literally just becomes like a pseudo point and click. It's all dialogue. It's not really a point and click, but it's all dialogue adventure.
Walk here, talk to this person. Walk over here, talk to that person. Walk back to there. Yeah,
some old Double Fines. Like
all adventure games are walk. We did point and clicks on this show before.
Yeah,
it's just walking back and forth, talking to people. The game could be a point and click, but it gives you control to walk back and forth and talk. All you do is talk to people.
And basically, the whole point is you have to figure out which one of these birds knocked this Apom out. And you're like, I have a black feather. Okay. Is it going to be this Pidoof? Is it going to be this Tailo? Is it going to be this Murkrow? Or is it going to be this Wingull? And my biggest concern with the problem with the game is I figured out what was going on, like, I don't know, a half hour before the game will let me know, just because I know Pokemon. I get it. It's designed for kids.
Yeah, the game is designed for kids. Maybe the mysteries work better on kids, but this happens. We'll talk about a little bit of the length of the game, maybe. But this does get exhausting. Like he says this time, but throughout the game, through most of the mysteries, if you're paying attention at all, you will have solved a lot of these mysteries 15 minutes to a half hour before the game, where you do all the steps to get to the point to figure out who it was. Like you're sitting here playing the game, and you have a black feather, like Blake says, and you have 4 suspect Pokemon, and only one of those Pokemon is black. So if you were a detective, you'd be like,
"Is a black feathered Pokemon?
Yeah,
we're not racist, I promise."
Nobody even thought that till you're pointing it out. You freaking racist. But you're sitting there like you're playing the game, and the guy, like the little main character dude, what's his name? Tim
Goodman.
Tim Goodman lists off these Pokemon, and you're like, well, I mean, it's the black Pokemon. It's the black Pokemon. Like, it's the only feather that matches the black Pokemon. But you have to walk around and talk to every single suspect Pokemon, a few humans around you, and like really like get a bunch of clues and a bunch of different conversation pieces, and really just narrow it down and meet other Pokemon on the way to finding the Murkrow and like everything, and all elite, like an hour of a whole thing. And there's like, I guess it was a Murkrow. And I'm like, yeah,
I knew that.
Yeah, it was, buddy. Good job catching up with the rest of the class here. But I mean, granted, grown men playing a Pokemon game again, we understand. But it's just like, come on now. I mean, I always kind of wish, this is a different subject, I kind of wish the Pokemon games would kind of build more towards their audience a little bit. Like, a lot of I mean, even there's a lot of millions, billions of Pokemon players, but there's a lot of older folks who do play Pokemon because they played when they were kids and they kept up with the series.
Mm-hmm.
Write some of this stuff or make some of this stuff. There's not a puzzle in this entire game that you don't figure out way before they get to the point, and it kind of makes the game exhausting a little bit.
You do go like one of the things I said. It brings out the personality of the Pokemon
For sure.
The two in particular in this opening area is a Pidove and a Talo. Now, Pidoves are pigeons.
They're really stupid.
They're really stupid, and they have very short memories. To the point that literally, while Pikachu is talking to him and asking about, oh, did you see the Apom fall out of the tree? It's like, yeah, I saw it. Oh, what'd you see? What were you asking? No. What did you see? An Apom and something fall and it fell. What happened? Oh, I saw that. What'd you ask me? Oh, food. And it was just so he's like, oh, I can't talk to this thing, it's so stupid. And Pikachu would literally say, this thing's so stupid I can't talk to it anymore. And a Talos are very
hubris, what's the
arrogant, vain, yes,
very vain apparently.
And it would always preen itself, and if it caught itself in like the mirror or reflection of itself, it would literally stop talking to you and look at itself. And then you'd have to get its distraction, and it would apologize and keep going, but then it would look again and get distracted again by itself and preen, and all of like
every Pokemon in the game has a personality. Well, a lot of them have personality traits and stuff like that.
It almost felt like, again, the first half of the game it's strong, and then like once you get past that point, it almost feels like they stopped trying too, because there's not as much care for some of these things.
It's almost like they put a lot of heart and soul into those first 3 chapters.
Yeah.
And then kind of, I don't want to say they coasted the next 6.
Yeah. Because they weren't under a time frame.
Yeah.
For those first 3, they're just kind of like, let's just have the pet project and do this.
Every chapter you are trying to figure out, like the main character, Tim Goodman, is trying to figure out his dad disappeared. So, like, he's there to find his dad. He don't care anything about Pokemon. But then there's a larger, Pokemon related things are happening. This mystery of this dark, misty stuff that's like poisoning Pokemon and driving them crazy. So then he like starts really looking into that, and his dad is involved in that.
He finds out when he goes to his dad's apartment, he finds like his secret notebook, and his dad was already investigating
and
that's
that
probably
same
what
thing.
led
So
to his disappearance.
So that kind of ties those two things together, and you end up going from place to place, You're kind of chasing your dad, who's also leading you in the same direction of trying to figure out why all these Pokemon are like going crazy and doing bad things, and then they wake up later not knowing what happened. It happens a couple of times throughout the game. You see it happen a couple of times, and then you go to places where it had just happened, and you talk to Pokemon who watched the Pokemon like freak out. Like one of the big ones was the amusement park where the Charizard was poisoned, and it got poisoned by the misty stuff, and it flipped out. What's this stuff called?
It's just called R.
It went crazy, made a bunch of damage, and pretty much closed down that amusement park because it did so much damage and scared too many people. Another thing is like, well, maybe you've also seen this game. We'll kind of talk about how it's somewhat. I need to watch the movie again. The movie somewhat follows this game a little bit, like the kind of the overarching story maybe, but like again, if you've seen the movie, you know who the Pikachu is. So you're like playing this game, and like the Pikachu, like you meet other people who knew his dad, and that's his dad's Pikachu. I think you forgot to mention that's his dad's Pikachu. It's his dad's Pikachu, and you meet people, talk to people who knew his dad, who knew the Pikachu, and they're like, man, that Pikachu sure is acting weird ever since your dad disappeared. I forget your dad's name.
Harry.
Since Harry disappeared. And then like you go to the coffee shop, and like and the Pikachu's like in love with coffee and can't wait to drink a whole bunch of coffee. And the guy was like, "That's weird. This Pikachu never drank coffee before, and it's also like your dad's favorite coffee. Man, that sure is strange."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so clearly his dad's inside the Pikachu. Spoilers. Sorry, I should have said that first. But I mean, when it's in the movie, and two, it's like beating you in the face with this information, and Tim's is kind of an idiot.
though he's an amazing detective, but he's
He's
kind
like,
of
yeah,
an idiot.
he's like a top detective, but he's kind of stupid. Like at the same time, everybody brags about how great he is at detecting stuff, and he has the obvious clues right in his face about where his dad is. I don't know. I thought that was really silly. I mean, it really beats you in the face with that stuff in the beginning of the game, with lots of different people saying different things about people. At least people that knew Harry and knew that Pikachu. You run into quite a few people who worked with his dad.
Now, the game is, like I said, it is broken up into 9 different chapters, and I think they're pretty distinct locales too. I thought that was very good. Like you're going through a couple of things that are similar, like a few. I'm not going to tell you, but you have the park, the opening area, and then there's a cave, and then there's the laboratory that's got some.
All Pokemon games gotta have a cave.
Mm-hmm. And then after the laboratory, there's the island. Then there's an amusement park, and then there's the news building, the cruise ship, the wharf, the dock, wharf, port, whatever you want to call it, and then the cityscape,
the parade.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talk of the big parade happening at the end, but everybody's worried about the R, like worried about having a parade and the Pokemon freaking out. So the parade, you always know at the beginning of the game, the upcoming parade is probably going to be the final little set piece.
Yeah. And each locale is different.
Yeah.
And one of the other things you can tell is around. Which one was it? I'd say around the amusement park, almost the exact. The amusement park is also the shortest area. It only has 2 screens that you can bounce through, so it almost feels like it shouldn't have been there, but whatever. But the amusement park is also the first time where they start reusing Pokemon you've already seen before. Mm. Like I think in one of them you see
there's a Murkrow at the amusement park.
There's a Murkrow at the amusement park. In the laboratory there is a Garbodor. But in the amusement park there is a Trubbish, which is the first form. And so it's the same Pokemon. They just started kind of like, oh, we're maybe running out of time. Let's just start reusing some assets and stuff. And so the personality, you can tell it does stop taking itself as seriously and just kind of starts going through the motions, and it's a little weak sauce about halfway through, which is disappointing considering how much I did love the game turning it on. And by the end of it, I was just
Blake noticed my attitude changes when I turned it on. I was like, this is really cool. It's really interesting. It's really like it just looks cool. It's like the way the world is presented. We haven't played any games like this, and like you see how the living, breathing world, they're like bragging about that with Just Now and like Scarlet and Violet. They're like, oh, it's gonna be a living, breathing, blah blah blah, and the Pokemon will be it'll all feel natural. I'm like, how are you just now doing this? And why didn't Sword and Shield do it? Blah blah blah. But this is what this game has. And we talked about earlier, the living, breathing part of Pokemon, actually living in the world and looking more natural. All of that really pulls you in the beginning of the game, especially if you played a bunch of other games. It really pulls you in, and everything is real interesting. We're talking 3 or 4 chapters in, though. You realize all you're doing is walking back and forth across places, and you're talking to people. But by then you're getting tired. Like you're 3, 4. Like each of these areas is an hour and a half probably. But maybe a kid won't bother a kid as much. But you're really solving a mystery that you like kicking a door, and you're like, I've solved it. Go talk to these 15 people first, and then we'll tell you when you solved it. And we're like, okay, like the news station. The news station's clearly like you find out like there's a haunting there.
It's a lab.
The lab, sorry, the lab, not the news station. The lab. There's a haunting. Well, for me, it was a little bit of a one. I think you kind of see a picture of him a little bit, but 2, like the most famous ghost Pokemon in Pokemon is still a Gengar. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be a Gengar, a mischievous Gengar, causing trouble with this lab. A half hour later, they're like, I think it was a Gengar, and it's like, oh man, and that was 3, 4, 5 chapters, third or fourth, and you start. I hate to say it, but you do get it kind of exhausted by it. Even if I was playing like 1 chapter a night, maybe you just started kind of, okay, this game maybe it's not. I don't even know if the quality. You said like the quality seems like it drops off, but I think it stays. I think maybe the quality stays, or just your mindset and your enthusiasm kind of drops off for 3, 4, 5 chapters in, and you got to keep on going to the end. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth it. I told you to go ahead and play it.
It's definitely worth
playing.
And
you did like it a lot in the beginning, too, and then you started to kind of like me, you kind of drag your heels to the second half to a semi conclusion. And we won't spoil that. There's a semi conclusion that the game does actually lead almost directly into another game. And I think they've announced Detective Pikachu 2.
I do want to talk about that. I'll talk about that real quiek.
Yeah, we do. I mean, if you have anything else, we can talk about a sequel if you want. But
I'll talk about them, and I want to talk about the voice actors here in a second too.
You know, I feel we trailed off from the voice actors.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the voice actors real quick, and then we'll end on the upcoming sequel, and then we'll wrap up.
All right, so I'll tackle Tim Goodman's voice actor. His name Koi Dao, and he's kind of new to the voice acting game. I think he's only been around since, what was it, like 2016? And so he's done. He's in that Demon Slayer game show. It's just like it was just like various voices and like some characters that weren't the main characters. I'm not sure how important they were. But then he's in another anime called Mob Psycho, where he plays a character named Toshiki, which was a pretty prominent character in Mob Psycho. He's also in that. It's also popular called Cells at Work, and he played the villainous Cancer Cells. And so that was like some animes he's done. Now for some games, he's in Genshin Impact, which has been pretty.
It's a hotness right now.
It's a hotness right now. He's also in Deathloop, which is a
arcane game.
Mm-hmm. He's been in that, and then something that you'll be interested in since you're kind of going through it. He does voice work in After Party.
That's the second game from Night School.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm playing through Oxenfree right now. And Oxenfree, they did after Oxenfree, they did After Party, and then they've announced Oxenfree 2. So,
and so like I said, he doesn't have a whole lot to his name. He's just like got like 60 plus things, but I didn't recognize the Japanese name of the anime or the picture of the anime because there's anime everywhere. Now, for the gentleman who did Pikachu's, he's got a much larger portfolio of 200 plus things. He's been doing it for a minute now, and I just kind of tackled some of the more recent ones and ones that may be more prevalent to us. Now he's done voice work, various voices in One Punch Man, which is kind of new hotness. He's also had a prominent role in Demon Slayer. He had like I think 12 or 13 episodes. And in the 2016 version of what's that Berserk, he was Guts in the 2016 remake.
Oh, really?
Remake continuation of the anime after the movies. He was Guts.
So they did the movies. So he did not do the movies.
He did the movies. The original voice actor did the movies,
and then didn't come back for the show.
And
then the show stopped, and we never got.
Well, then also Kenshiro Montaro died, so we're never going to get the ending to Berserk.
We'll never see an ending now.
Like
25, 30 years of waiting for this anime to be finished, and then he dies.
Unless someone comes along and like, oh, he took enough notes here. Like, I'm sure they're trying because people want an ending. Yeah. But now 3 cool things. And he does voice work in 7 Deadly Sins. He's the voice of Hendrickson, the main villain, and in season 1 and continues throughout. Is a pseudo good guy. You want to talk about Hendrickson?
Yeah, the gray-haired guy.
The gray hair with the red armor, the spikes all over and stuff. So he's a deep, manly voice for that Pikachu. Star Shatter, and his son's Grimoire.
That's the brown-haired guy with the long hair.
Yeah, with the long hair.
Yeah, with the spike. Okay, I was thinking of who's the gray-haired guy? He's also a bad guy turned a good guy. Who's the gray-haired guy?
I forget his name off the top of my head. Hendrickson.
Because they kind of pair up afterwards. They're like buddy. Because
they're friends forever.
What's his name? They're both bad guys in the beginning. That show sucked. Eventually.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't the 7 Deadly Sins podcast.
So he's Hendrickson, and in 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, he's Hijiyama.
Which one's that? I know.
Yakisoba Pond.
Oh, that guy. He even kind of looks like that guy.
He's the displaced.
He kind of looks like Hendrickson.
He's the displaced soldier from World War II. He's all about yakisoba pan and
that's like his entire character.
And eventually ends up being gay.
Not eventually. He's like gay the entire time.
He just doesn't know it, or something.
Somehow doesn't know it. It was a string. He was funny, but
yeah. And then now I'm super excited about this because we haven't played this, but we both want to. He's in Yakuza 7, and he's the main English voice actor for Ichiban.
Ichiban. See, but my problem is I won't play Yakuza 7 in Japanese because I play the entire Yakuza series in Japanese.
I probably will too, but I still think that's pretty cool.
He is
the
cool.
voice of Ichiban.
That's cool. You wouldn't think that he's the same guy who played Detective Pikachu, so it'd be kind of funny.
So having that same voice, someone going, "Dragon Quest is an amazing RPG," and talking about the world being in RPG form.
That's funny.
So
that's a good role for him because that game exploded. So
yes, that's great. I hope there's more.
Well, they've already confirmed there's more. The game did extremely well.
Now, as Drew said earlier, Detective Pikachu was a hit immediately. So like I said, it worldwide released March 23rd, 2018. So I'm sure people in America maybe got a hold of, like, they have like Japanese DSs and maybe have got a hold of that sooner. But we'll just base this off the timeline of it hit worldwide March 23rd, 2018. It became an American movie. It was released May 10th, 2019.
God, that's a really fast turnover.
What is that? 14
like
months.
I would say that's the first time in video game movie history that somebody actually struck while the iron was hot instead of making a movie a decade after the games were done.
Yeah. It was 14 months.
That's wild. And Detective Pikachu is not a cheap movie.
No, yeah. Now, there were some subtle differences.
Yeah, well, Tim Goodman's not around in the live action movie.
Yeah, he is. He's Tim.
He's Tim. Is that the same guy?
It's Tim. It's Tim Goodman.
Yeah,
the only difference.
He's not the same guy though.
Yeah, it is. It's Tim Goodman going after his father, Harry Goodman.
Yeah, it don't seem like it's the same.
Well, what they did is they fluctuated a little bit. So in the game, he's 18, and he's looking for his missing father. Now in this one, he's 21. And he's going to the city because his parents are separated to pick up his father's effects because his father is dead. There was a huge car crash, and like your father, we couldn't find the body in the fire, but your father, we're assuming he's dead. So come pick up his effects and all this stuff.
Dark.
You get this a little more Americanized, more dark. And then you have two characters. You have Amelia, which is Tim's love interest in the game, and her friend Mako, and they both work for the news company. She's like a reporter, and Mako's the cameraman. Now, in the movie, you get they Americanized her name, of course. I forget what it is off the top of my head. Lucy Stevens.
I wonder why they would change that name.
I don't know, but they Lucy Stevens, and in the games, neither one of them had a Pokemon partner. But they combined both those characters into Lucy Stevens, so she and her cameraman was her pet Psyduck. So they kind of they made sure everyone had a Pokemon in the movie, and then you go to literally everywhere you go in the game, you go to in the movie.
Yeah, I got a faint memory of the movie.
Yeah,
so I want to rewatch it.
They changed the names a little bit to make them, because one of them, like, I think the lab's called literally the Pokemon Logistics Company or something like that, or I think it's called Pokemon Laboratory Company, and they're like, let's change that name. That's a dumb name. And same thing for the news company is GEN, which is like Global National News. And I'm like, let's change this to like Rhyme City Night News or something. Like but you literally go to all the places and everything. Maybe not in the same order, but you do go to them. So they do a pretty good job. Now, the movie did well, and all that stuff. And
I think it was the highest grossing video game movie until Sonic came out.
Yeah. And now, once they announced the movie that the movie was coming out, and then when the movie came out, like a month or so later, they also announced that they were working on Detective Pikachu 2 that would be exclusive to the Switch. Mm-hmm. And they went out of their way to say, hey, I guess because they want people to buy the game, they're like, hey, it will have the game Detective Pikachu 2 will have a completely different resolution than what the movie had.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah. So I wonder if maybe the writers nailed it so hard they're like, oh crap, we got to change our ending or something.
Yeah. Or like so the game developers who thought they had this big maybe they thought they had the big secret that Detective Pikachu was his dad. And they're like, nobody will figure this out. And then the movie comes out, and they're like, oh crap.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows it's his dad now. We got to completely change our game. How'd they figure it out? Our clues were so subtle.
Yeah. Subtle indeed. And, like, I'll play it.
Yeah. I don't know. We bought this one because there's... Well, I guess technically we could have rented it on GameFly maybe, but
yeah,
we're buying DS
we
games.
bought it cheap, and it was like, what, $10-15?
I don't know. I think it's a pretty expensive cartridge, I feel like. Might have caught it at a local store here in Nashville somewhere. I don't think I know I won't play it again. I have no reason to play Detective Pikachu again.
No,
No.
I don't. If I want to play it again, I'll just watch the movie.
Watch the movie, yeah.
Because I mean, it's like I said, it's almost the same thing. I mean, they had some other subtle changes. That one of the people you meet in the guy who runs the news company is like a dude named like Randolph Clifford, and so
Randolph bad guy.
Yeah, but in the movie, you encounter this guy and he runs Clifford Industries. And you meet that guy. He, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie yet, he doesn't end up being the bad guy. His father ends up being the bad guy, which is played by Bill Nighy. So they kind of keep it in the line, but he's not the bad guy. And about halfway through the game, you meet a character named Norman, who ends up being, like, he's like, haha, I'm a bad guy. I got a Scropy and a Noivern that do things for me. Now... in the movie, you get a character named Norman, but it's not that guy. It's a character, they changed it to Miss Norman. The last name's Norman. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. But by the end of that, Miss Norman actually ends up being a Ditto, who's disguised as a human the entire movie.
Weird.
So there's just some like subtle changes, but they still get the point across.
Yeah.
And none of them really bothered me too much. Like when I read the differences, I was like, oh. I'm okay with that. It doesn't...
Yeah. If it does anything, they did cram this entire... We're talking 9 chapters. We're talking 10 hour adventure.
Probably like
into an
like
hour,
10 to 15.
hour and a half.
Almost. I think it's an almost 2 hour.
Almost
movie.
2 hour movie. So you can see there could have been a little bit of a. Granted, you can't. It's hard to. Games and movies aren't comparable usually, but like you said, it got the same story, the same idea across in the movie basically. In a kind of a much more enjoyable fashion.
And they visit everywhere.
Yeah, if I just bang through it at a rapid pace.
Because like even the High Five Cafe, that's got the Ludicolo as the waiter and the dude. They go to the High Five Cafe though briefly, and there is a Ludicolo that bartends for the bar and stuff like that. So like it's all like I think they did a fantastic. Having played the game and watched the movie, I'm like they did a fantastic job.
That's why it did so well. When you stay true to where the art comes from, you have a successful thing. You change everything to meet expectations that don't exist, then you fail.
Yeah. And speaking of, like I said, it only got outdid by Sonic. We did go see Sonic 2 this weekend, and if you ain't seen it and you like the first one, awesome. It is great.
It's awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was
we're not even Sonic fans, and the movies are cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, a really good sequel. Is that all we got for this?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on. If you are to our last thing.
Yep, I'm gonna bust this last thing because per usual, we do these things Sunday morning, leading right into time for lunch, and we are getting hungry.
We hungry boys.
Don't know what we're eating yet. We're going to get something. So, I have a band for you, like I normally do on my alternating episodes. I have another band for you that, as far as I can tell, is no longer around, which is sad. I keep doing these bands for you. I know you people get sad when you hear a band like, oh, they're not around no more. But a lot of these bands, well, I guess some have one album, but some bands have multiple albums. This band has 5 total albums you can listen to and get a good feel for the band. And still, even though they don't make music anymore, you still got 5 albums to enjoy. Sort of. Their first album, you talked about it. The first album called Demon Angel. It sounds like it doesn't really sound like, maybe they hadn't landed their sound yet, but their next album, which I kind of, so maybe you have 4 albums technically of generally what this band sounds like. This band is called Canobliss. Canobliss. Now, there's a little bit of a story here. There's another thing, if you search for them, somebody called Canobliss with an A, and I think, I know Canobliss had to change their name, had some legal snafu, had to end up changing their name, which is we're going to talk about here in a second. I wonder if this other person is maybe clearly the reason why they had to change their name. I clicked on that person, and I think they're still kind of making stuff, which is lame because they're just some random person that's picked that name. I don't know if that name. I have no idea if that name means something or not. But Canobliss, I actually followed them way back in the day on their social medias and stuff. I forget how far back this goes, but I was following them on an email list. So when they put out a new CD, I was always following. I was in email, and I would always buy. I've bought all 4 of their albums, and they're 1, 2, and 3 under the name Canobliss, and then the legal stuff. They end up changing their name of their band for their currently their last album. And interestingly, they changed their name of their band to one of their songs and one of their album title. Their second album is called Psychothermia. Weirdly enough, dude, I listened to a podcast the other day, and somebody used that word in a conversation. Like it's a mental issue of something. And somebody ran over in a conversation on a podcast. And I was like, holy crap.
It's always funny when you think it's a made up word.
Yeah, do you think it's a made up word? I didn't Google it. But they have an album called Psychothermia, and there's a title track on there called Psychothermia. Spoilers, it's the song me and Blake ended up agreeing on to play. But I guess that meant the most to them, and they ended up rebranding Canobliss' name into a Psychothermia, and you get one album, their final album. The final album that I found is called that, and it's the same band. It sounds exactly like Canobliss. It's just they had to change their name to keep from getting sued. But I wonder if it was just a whole lot of trouble, and they ended up not putting out anything else after that album. So I'd always just drop that into my Canobliss playlist. It all sounds the same, and it's all really good.
The only difference between the two is Psychothermia is spelled like psycho, Psycho, but the actual medical condition of psychothermia is CYCLO.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
THYMIA.
What's it mean?
It is a mood disorder characterized by alternating periods of elevated and depressing moods that are milder than most cases of typical bipolar disorder.
So it's like baby bipolar.
Almost.
With a much grander name.
I think it has it has fewer, from what it looks like, it has fewer inconsistencies, but the mood swings are larger.
Oh, okay.
The swings happen less often, but when they swing, it's a bigger swing than just your standard bipolar. Is what it sounds like.
A rock band using that for a name, so.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like the swing of the emotions on that album, probably, and then they was like, oh, I really like that name. It sounds cool. Let's keep it for the band, because it's I think it's a pretty high. It is a pretty high energy band. Oh, yeah. It does some highs, and they'll dip down. Some songs will kind of ramp up and down. It's pretty cool. I actually had forgot about this band. I'm going to be honest, because I have so many playlists and so many bands on my Spotify. You scroll up and down, you forget about people. And Blake had brought them back into my attention. I was like, maybe I'll do them. I don't even remember what they. I listed them. I felt bad because I'd followed them for so long, and I bought all their albums, like physically bought the albums. And then I listed them on Spotify, and I was like, God, these guys are awesome.
You didn't even have a playlist.
I didn't have a playlist because that's how I've missed them for so long. I'd had a playlist, and then if it ain't on my playlist, then I forget you exist. I'm sorry. But it was really, really cool. It was really, really awesome. I was like jamming them for days. I was struggling to like. I had to save like 3 or 4 different songs. I was like, this is gonna be really hard to pick a song. And then Blake thought about what said. I was like, why don't you just play that title track, which is the title track from that album, which is what they changed their band name to. It's a great song. It kind of fits the whole idea of everything, and then you get that, and then you kind of can. It leads in this conversation here, which you talk about how they have one other album under that name. Yeah. Yep. And it's awesome. I'm so glad he got me back in, because I listened to him for days and days and days and days, and I showed him to Jessica, who obviously never heard of him. I want to try to keep an eye on them now. They're kind of dormant, of course. That's what happens to bands. I hate that you would put out 4 albums or 5 albums technically, and then you would kind of. I don't know. It's hard to be in a band. Hard to make music. It's not free to put out albums and stuff like that. I wish they would kind of do something else. But I mean, they put out a whole lot of music. There's a whole lot of music there to listen to, and weirdly, it's on Spotify. And from what I gather, you have to pay to be on Spotify. So somebody's paying to keep their license up on Spotify.
It also gets to a point. Another matter of fact, Jared talked about it back on episode 50. Jared talked about that they took their first album off Spotify because it wasn't getting enough listens, and so they ended up having to kind of pay out of pocket for it. But with their second album, New Horizon, I think it was called, they said it was getting enough plays that the amount of money that it was making, it was basically they were deducting the payment from itself, and they were getting less money, but they were also not having to pay Spotify to keep it on there.
That's funny. That's how this is behind the scenes stuff. That's how our Patreon is right now. Our Patreon pays for the people we pay Patreon. Like I pay other people's Patreon because I'm fans of other people. I don't know. I'm not bragging, but I pay other Patreons, and our Patreon. I've watched the bill thing, and it pays for our Patreon right now. It like pays for our Patreon.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we kind of break even on that. It's pretty cool. It's funny how it works out. Anyway, same idea. That's cool. I mean, so maybe Canobliss has, or Psychothermia, however you balance that, maybe has just enough listens to pay for itself. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. That's cool.
I only know because Jared talked about it. That's the only reason I remember.
Way back when.
Thank you, Jared.
Thanks for the info, man.
Yeah. And knowledge is power.
Anyway, I think that's all I got. It's always kind of hard to really just gush and brag over bands, and you really like them, and I could talk all I want. It means nothing until you actually get to hear them, and that's what we're here for. Is you're going to hear a song on the end of this. I'm going to play the title track, Psychothermia, from technically their third album, if you count that first album. Their third album called Psychothermia. That album came out in 2008. So you'll be hearing that at the end of this. It'll kick in as soon as Blake says his final stuff. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody who sticks around. We have like a recurring number, so people who kind of stick around, we really, really appreciate that. We're not trying to be a big podcast. We're not trying to make this a living. This is a fun hobby. We like having people who are listening. We have great people who interact and say things to us, so we know we're maybe not just friends and family. I'm sure our numbers are higher than friends or family, but talk to us.
Yeah, please. We're lonely and desperate.
We sit in dark rooms and play Pokemon games. Yeah. So, with that sad joke on the end there, we're gonna wrap it up. Like I said, thank you everybody. And then we'll be back. We won't spoil it per se, but we do have a one game selected for our next episode. Something we've both played somewhat recently, so we got that ready. It'll be a couple weeks from now. But hope you enjoyed our little bit of Pokemon talk here of non-mainline franchise Pokemon games. So that's all I got. I'll let Blake wrap it up here, and you'll hear Psychothermia.
I want to wish everybody a good evening and good Pikachu.
Take my bottle, gonna hit the trying to lie. It's going